video, I'm going to share some nice suggestions, ideas, tips that I think you could probably use in a lot of praise and worship songs. Towards the end of the video, I'll explain the capo, and it will also justify why I actually did this video. But first step, let's look at the basic chord progression. For example, normal G, normal C, normal E minor, and normal D. Now, if you change those chords, in other words, if you do slight sort of variations on them, for example, instead of playing G like this, I'm going to zoom in closer on my hand a bit quickly. There's our standard G where we normally play it. What sounds pretty cool is you take that ring finger number 3 up a string and you put the pinky where the ring finger was and then place fingers 1 and 2. This is also G. It's not G something new, it's just G. But it gives you a slightly different sound. Now, when you go to the C, your normal C, I'm sure you're familiar with, looks like this. 1, 2, 3. Change it to a C add 9 by adding the pinky to the second string, like that. And you can take it one step further, keeping in mind that G and C often follow in succession. So if you're taking your G from this particular voicing, like I just showed you, into the new one with fingers 3 and pinky, you'll notice that when I go from G to C now, or to C add 9, which is its new name, all that I do is bring fingers 1 and 2 down a string. So there's my G, still becoming G. My C has now become C add 9, and it gives a really nice sort of dreamy effect. Listen to the change now. It just sounds so cool. Now E minor to E minor 7. Now first of all, that's probably the most common E minor 7, but it just sounds meh, for lack of a better description. What we're going to do is we're going to keep those fingers 3 and 4, and those two fingers are going to become a sort of central theme through this particular progression. And we're going to put E minor back in place with fingers 1 and 2, and this is E minor 7 as well. Same chord, different voicing. And voicing means same chord played differently. For example, I could do G like this, I could play G like a bar chord. Now it's a different voicing. So different voicing, same chord, different way of doing it. Okay, so now your 3 chords, G, C add 9, E minor 7, and you can hear it's really got a very sort of familiar sound to it, and I'm sure you probably heard something similar to this in your praise and worship in your church, but it really works well. And then lastly, D, I'm not sure if you're familiar with D sus 4. Sus is an abbreviation for suspended fourth. You're going to put the pinky on the first string, so it sounds like this. Now you should recognize that those two fingers have been there from the G, they were still there for the C add 9, they were still there for the E minor 7, and no surprise, they're still there for the D at the end of it. But what sounds really cool to break that sort of consistency of 3 and 4, those two strings, to keep that consistency and to just make a bit of a variation. When you go to the D, try this, and it sounds really cool. You can hear the difference, and pinky off, and it sounds nice. So try this with me slow motion, 2 and 3 and 4 and. Sounds really nice. Now other common, or popular rather, progressions are G, E minor, C and D, which we're going to use the same concept now, and it's going to sound just as cool. So we're going to take this G to E minor to C, and we're going to put that same sort of little bit of an extra on with fingers 3 and 4, getting the pinky on that first string of the 3rd fret. And now check how cool this sounds. 3 and 4 and. It sounds so cool. So whenever you got a praise and worship song and you want to try and get that sort of almost Hillsong sort of vineyard sort of sound, that more sort of modern sound, try these variations. Now, what inspired me for this video was one of my students sent me a PDF of a song, and it had chords like B flat, G minor, E flat, and F, and he said help. So I thought, no, that sucks. Took a capo. It doesn't have to be a capo like this, it can be a more traditional capo, something like that. Either ways, put it at fret number 3, and now you suddenly got your B flat, okay, G is now B flat, because the capo has changed the key. So this is my new B flat, but it's still a G with a capo fret 3. So we need to know how to transpose. That's a video for another day. But I just want to show you how the same chords now, B flat to E flat. E flat is actually C, so I can C and mine that like this. My G minor becomes a G minor 7 or E minor 7 shape. So the shapes that I'm playing over here, my G shape, my C add 9 shape, my E minor 7, and my D shape are no longer those 4 chords by name. They're those chord shapes, but not by name, because the capo has changed the key. So my G gives me a B flat with a capo at 3. My C at 9 gives me a E flat with capo at fret 3. Notice the theme, capo at fret 3. E minor 7 gives me a G minor 7 with capo at fret 3. And then lastly, my D to D sus4 D combination will now be my F to my F suspended. And those chords worked out really, really well. So if you're not sure how to transpose, drop me a WhatsApp, I'll be happy to help. But those 4 chords will become really, really popular. So get to know them, they're very cool. Other nice chords that I've come across quite a bit in worship as well is A to A sus. And all we're doing with that over there is taking a traditional conventional A and sliding the ring finger across, or putting the pinky down. And you can also take this to an A sus 4, A7 sus 4 like this, also popular. So those 2 fingers, really popular, they come in a lot, use them. And that will hopefully help you through quite a lot of different more familiar sounds. I'm hoping that this really, really helps. If there's any questions, or you've got a chord progression that these chords don't help with, please feel free to drop me a WhatsApp or message me via my YouTube channel. I'll be more than happy to help you. And I can show you then also how to make the most of your capo. I'll show you where to place it. And once you've got the concept of how your capo can make those 4 chords become really, really powerful, really useful, and that's what we're looking for. We're trying to get that nice, dreamy, relaxed, mellow praise and worship atmosphere that we're familiar with a lot of the new songs. So if you want to know how to use your capo, you've got maybe 1 or 2 other chords you're not familiar with, like G6, that's G6. You can also put the ring finger down on the 2nd string as well, also G6 by the way. There are other chords like E minor, or sorry, E sus4, which is basically looks like A, upper string, which you can also take from E and just slide your 1st finger underneath it, and that sounds very cool as well. So there's a lot of cool tips that I can add onto the video, but the primary thing that I want to walk away with today is the combination of G, C, E minor, and D being changed to new chords. And then also how we can take G, E minor, C, and D and also change them as well. So any questions, drop me a WhatsApp. Be happy to help. Otherwise, have an awesome, blessed day. Take care.